Right, let's go to Washington now, where the former ambassador to the United States from Australia, the former treasurer, and our mate Joe Hockey is standing by right now. Fewer than, 90 days to go now until an election. It's going to be a fun little ride in the next little while, mate. And I tell you what, the Democrats, they're not even mucking around now about trying to absolutely confound coronavirus with Trump and using it as the reason to dump Trump, about 100 days from now.
Well, that's right, Paul. It's starting to get a little edgy in the US elections, and it's also having a real impact in the community. For example, the equivalent of the US equivalent of Job Seeker ran out at midnight on Friday night, and there are tens of millions of Americans that are probably going to be evicted from their homes over the next few weeks. In fact, estimates are that up to 1/3 of renters may be evicted because the economy just isn't coming back. And if you want an example of that, New York, where Governor Cuomo said he would sue Donald Trump for closing the borders, to prevent him closing the borders, Cuomo has now said that if you are coming into New York from 41 states, any one of 41 states, you have to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. So he has closed New York to the rest of America. Other states are following. Every state is different in their rules. Every state is different in their enforcement. Meanwhile, people are on the verge of either losing their jobs or they are losing their jobs. And, I'm actually at my most despondent about the US economy at the moment.
Yeah, it's that feeling where, remember we talked about V's and drunken L's and what the recovery is. And of course, what is so difficult to pin down, so impossible to actually prove, is that there is a coordinated attempt to delay things until, the second week of November. But very obviously, some of these actions, it's very selective about what is the outrage or what is the media focus. Like, for my sins, I watch a lot of CNN or, check out MSNBC to see where they are. Obviously get my fill of Tucker and all the rest of it in the middle of the day here, God love them. But California is the place with the most cases. It is the case with the most cases. It is, of course, the most one of the most liberal places in the United States, yet no coverage. Still talking about Florida, still talking about Texas, still talking about, unsurprisingly, all the places that are up for grabs at the election. Again, it's not like there's a giant meeting where everyone works out what can we do to get Trump today, but it is interesting where they put the emphasis, isn't it?
Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's unwatchable media here, although it's a bit like, you can't turn away from the car crash happening before you. But if you believe the media, Paul, there's no virus at all in Democrat states, and it's writ large because of Donald Trump in other states. And look, it is very partisan. But you just got to look at the raw numbers. I just come back to New York for one moment. New York now, this year, has had more shootings than all of last year combined.
Wow.
And that's even with the lockdown, where crime went quiet for a while. It's had more shootings by August this year than all of last year combined. And it's got a Democrat Mayor de Blasio who is an advocate for defunding police. So, and has started defunding police. So go figure how that works. And why isn't there an outcry about that? Well, it's only just started. And I think there will be a bit of a pushback about issues relating to personal security and job security, because job security is a coronavirus. I mean, you're talking about it on your program tonight. We are now at the point where decision makers are deciding whether there is going to be a greater community cost associated with lockdown than the health costs. And it's a very hard decision, but it's going to have to happen, because if we don't start opening up economies and managing the coronavirus, then you are going to see more and more tragic outcomes in the community, whether it be domestic violence, whether it be community violence, or it be the rapid escalation of poverty.